Coming up, it's Small Town Big Deals Christmas Across America.
We're about to unravel the mysteries behind the season's twisted treat.
Then we're off to a small town where the spirit of giving practically grows on trees.
And see how the spirit of Christmas breathes life and light into this small town.
Welcome to Small Town Big Deal. I'm Rodney Miller.
And I'm Jan Carl. You know, we have had such a remarkable year on Small Town Big Deal that we decided to celebrate by bringing you another Christmas special. Last year's was so nice, well, why not do it twice?
We call it Christmas Across America, a Small Town Big Deal celebration.
Our weekly viewers know how much we love traveling across this great, big, beautiful country, bringing you uplifting stories about wonderful people, great places, remarkable events, well, even some wacky events.
And today, it's all about Christmas on Small Town Big Deals, Christmas Across America. Tonight's special is brought to you by Nationwide, the #1 farm and total small business insurer in the U.S.
There is nothing like the smell of Christmas cookies.
Christmas and sugar, they go hand in hand. Well, and hand to mouth.
Hot. Hot. And let me tell you, the king of Christmas treats, well, that is a tale with a really cool twist.
We went to Denver, Colorado, where we got all wrapped up in Christmas's sweet spot. Hey, you gonna eat all those?
Maybe.
Each year, Hammond's Candies gives the world 10 million tasty, carefully wrapped, handmade reasons as to why Christmas time is so sweet.
We have to start making candy canes in December for the following Christmas.
Whether he wears his finest elf headgear or not, Andy is the Willy Wonka of the candy cane world. What sets Hammond's apart from other candy makers is that their candy is handmade.
And it's been that way since original owner Carl Hammond first opened shop back in 1920.
We just want to preserve that tradition of handmade hard candy and certainly the candy cane.
With 20,000 stores around the country selling their handmade candies, Hammond's is a made-in-America success story.
Somebody in every small town sells Hammond's candies and candy canes during the holidays.
Today, Andy takes us inside the factory doors with head cook Victor Ortiz. They'll reveal how the most conspicuous of Christmas candies, the candy cane, earns its stripes.
They're making Christmas memories one candy cane at a time.
Thanks to our not-so-favorite fashion accessory, the hairnet.
Our hair is on lockdown as we enter the factory.
This is where the magic begins.
This is where the magic begins. All right, where's Victor?
Victor brings in a giant copper kettle. It's needed for the first ingredient, 25 pounds of thick, gooey corn syrup. That is a lot of sweet.
Next, Victor adds 50 pounds of sugar, but not just any sugar.
Colorado grows an amazing beet sugar. We'd rather use a homegrown Colorado product than bring it in from elsewhere.
Instead of farm to table, it's farm to candy cane.
Correct.
Next, 4 quarts of water are added to the mix. Okay, Jan, let's put it on the cooker.
The cooker heats the sugary mix to 330 degrees.
The occasional stir keeps it nice and uniform. I'm thinking how sweet that is right now.
Yeah.
As the candy cane concoction boils, we will try to boil down the historical facts of how the candy cane came to be.
There's lots of legends about the candy cane in general. The one that I like the best is in the 17th century in Germany. The choir master gave kids that were singing in the choir these sticks of candy so they would keep quiet. They would eat them during the service.
Other legends say sugar sticks were curved to make a J for Jesus, or to represent a shepherd's staff. The shepherds were the first to travel to Bethlehem to see Jesus in the manger.
Now back at Hammond's,
It's ready to be poured on the cooling table.
Andy and his staff say at 330 degrees,
Wow.
the mix is cooked to perfection.
Oh, they poured that out. It was like liquid gold. I mean, you should feel the heat.
You want it to cool down now.
To about 200 degrees. Then that's when the candy starts becoming pliable.
While it cools, Victor adds red dye to one corner. After 10 minutes of cooling, the mix will be pliable enough to be cut.
So what Victor's doing right now is he's going to separate the two colors.
The red corner is separated out, and the remaining gold section is cut in two, leaving us with 3 sugary blobs.
That looks like a science fiction glob or something.
We're gonna pick them up, can't drop it.
We carefully grab the red mix and take one of the gold ones. The other gold one will take center stage a little later.
We load that first gold blob onto a puller, and I add some peppermint flavoring.
So now it's turning white.
That's because the stretching and pulling aerates the mix, spinning the gold to white. Think Rumpelstiltskin in reverse.
It's magical. Oh, this is when I want it to be smell-o-vision.
Now, these 2 blobs are going to get a kind of deep tissue massage.
As we knead and rub the candy, it slowly stretches.
So what you're doing right now is you're actually stretching out the red stripe to the peppermint candy cane.
And I'm stretching out what will end up being the white stripe.
Tug of war here.
Once stretched, they're pressed together. Then Victor breaks out the scissors.
We're gonna cut these edges on each side.
He trims a little red and white to place atop the last remaining golden blob.
And this is where the rest of the flavor is gonna go to.
It's loaded on the puller where Jann adds more peppermint flavoring.
You're gonna start feeling the peppermint flavor here in a little bit.
As it aerates, the red stripe trimmings blend in, turning it a pink color.
That's it.
This pinkish section will become the center of the candy cane. It's carefully wrapped.
I'm gonna take this one to the batch roller now. We should be good.
To the batch roller?
Yeah, right over there.
At the batch roller, it's reheated, just enough to become pliable again.
After 10 minutes, this becomes this.
We're gonna start stretching it and then twist it, okay?
Victor rolls it down to nearly a ½ inch in diameter.
Oh, it's starting to look like a candy cane.
The candy is cut and bent to make a hook,
This is like Dr. Seuss.
so Jann gives it a shot.
And Victor critiques.
The canes are a little bit big. They're a family size.
Leave it to me. He makes it look a lot easier.
And when we offered Victor additional help, he was gracious.
I think we're gonna pass on this one. But
So here's a bit of our handiwork that you didn't see.
These are behind-the-scenes candy canes. I mean, making these wasn't as easy as it looked.
In fact, Victor's, not Victor's.
But they still taste good.
yeah.
Which small town holds the bragging rights to the world's largest Christmas store?
This is where I need to be shopping.
The answer when we return.
This year's special is brought to you by Nationwide and these fine sponsors.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deals Christmas Across America.
Is this for me?
No, Rodney, that's just for decoration.
What about this one?
No, that's also just for decoration.
Hey, this one's got something in it.
Oh my gosh, these are all just for decoration. You are like a kid on Christmas morning. Oh my gosh. Speaking of decorations, do you have your own go-to place for Christmas decorations?
Well, even if you do, you need to add Frankenmuth, Michigan to that list.
And if you go there, don't do what I did.
Yeah, maxed out credit cards.
Frankenmuth was founded in 1845 by a small group of German farmers from the province of Franconia in Germany's Kingdom of Bavaria.
It's a town about 90 miles north of Detroit with a population of about 4,400.
This town is truly a Kleinstadt große Ding, or small town big deal in German. And we're about to show you why. Cue the Christmas music. Come on, we're here, we're here.
Well, if it isn't the folks from Small Town Big Deal. Welcome to Bronner's and Happy Christmas. You are in the world's largest Christmas store, so there's only 50,000 different things to look at. We shop the world, we bring it all here for our visitors and guests to admire.
Wayne told us this all began with his father, who was a sign painter.
In the late 1940s, young Wally Bronner used his painting skills to create Christmas decorations for local Michigan towns and store windows.
People from other communities inquired as to where they got them. They said, well, there's a young sign painter down in Frankenmuth, Michigan named Wally Bronner, and that was the genesis of the Christmas business.
Can you believe this started with one guy and window decorations?
Bronner's Christmas Wonderland has now grown to occupy 27 acres and employs nearly 750 people, all in this small town of 4,400.
We've had 27,000 people come through the store in one day.
I would not like that day because I need room to shop.
We're going to do some shopping.
You do that. All right. You won't be the only ones today, so enjoy yourselves.
At Bronner's, Christmas rocks.
Oh, that's really cool. This is where I need to be shopping.
Take note, they've got everything you can imagine.
Gosh, I didn't even know they had farming ornaments.
They are not horsing around here. There are more than 6,000 different styles of ornaments.
Oh, 4-H. Everybody loves 4-H.
Well, I'm off to a good start, but I think I definitely need to get some more.
Jen is having such a good time here. I'm not sure our van can hold all the ornaments she's buying.
Credit card, maxed out.
I needed some fresh air after all that shopping, so Wayne took us to see one of Wally Bronner's dreams.
So this is the Silent Night Chapel. Wally always had envisioned something special here. Didn't know what it was. One time he was over in Oberndorf, Austria, and there was a chapel built there to commemorate the location where Silent Night was sung for the very first time in 1818. This is a replica of the Silent Night Chapel that exists in Oberndorf, Austria. And we actually have a service here on Christmas Eve, and then we sing Silent Night in English and then also in German.
All right, I want to hear it in German.
Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht. Is that enough?
That was...
I think he mispronounced one word.
Oh, yeah. I understand that we're going to get to do some crafty things and actually work with some of your people.
We're going to put both of you to work.
All right, that's what we're going to
Let's
do.
do it.
Okay.
From historical German music to a real artist in residence, we got our next cultural lesson in painting.
Paint gun style, that is, from a cool guy named Billy Budd.
You know, I got this. I've painted a lot of tractors. Jan hasn't even used a spray gun.
I'm going to have you guys shading all these deep curves that we all have in there. Yep, you're going to do the shading.
We three kings who got painted by Jann and Rodney.
Luckily, if you guys mess up, I have some white paint. You can go back over it and erase it.
Start over again.
Rodney and Jan having a competition going on and seeing how well they compared against each other. Then you pull that up, just like that.
You can't breathe.
I can't understand a word he's saying.
So I should just like get these creases.
Yep, right in there. Kind of hold back a little bit. Just a little bit. There you go.
You know, Billy gave me really good advice. I think I'm doing pretty good.
Looking good, looking good.
He says I'm looking good.
Perfect. Halfway there. Not bad.
It was a little daunting going second. In there, a crook of his arm.
Right in the armpit.
Jan's doing pretty good.
Is that all the way down?
No, it kind of stops right in there.
So I just knew I had to bring it.
Go over it later on and put on the final coat that evens out everything.
You'll fix Rodney's side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ta-da!
All right.
I would have to say Jan, because she jumped right into it and she had the darkest shadows.
Billy picked me.
Jan did better than I. It is what it is. And she's behind me, isn't she?
Ta-da! You know, I think he turned out pretty good.
I think Billy did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think Billy deserves the credit.
How do you say goodbye to this Christmas wonderland? Very reluctantly.
I mean, it's the celebration of Christmas. How could it not be fantastic?
Up next, a Pennsylvania town where the spirit of giving practically grows on trees.
Each year it gets easier and easier to do it, and you want to give more and more.
Christmas Across America is brought to you by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deals Christmas Across America.
You know, Jan, these are just the coolest ornaments, and I just love decorating a tree.
So do I. I think it's my kids' favorite activity. You know, it makes me think it should be time now for a Small Town Big Deal history lesson about the tradition of the Christmas tree.
It's widely believed that Martin Luther, founder of the Protestant Reformation, may have been the first to put up a tree back in the 1500s. He was so impressed with the stars twinkling through the evergreens that he brought a tree inside the house. and lit it with candles. For Jan and me, this next story centers on how Christmas trees remind us about the spirit of giving.
It can often mean helping those in need or letting somebody know how much you care.
We're finding that special way to say thank you for your service.
It's the Christmas tree capital of the world. Why else wouldn't you want a Christmas tree from here?
Welcome to Indiana, the Christmas tree capital of the world.
That's the city of Indiana in the state of Pennsylvania.
It's about an hour east of Pittsburgh, and it's surrounded by Christmas tree farms. One of the oldest and most popular is Fleming's.
This is our 72nd year here at Fleming's Christmas Tree Farms.
So it's not your first rodeo by any means.
No, not at all. That tree will do you good.
Great, we're excited.
Fleming's has over 250 acres of trees and a very big heart. Once a year, in the middle of their busiest season, they throw a Christmas bash and collect trees for the troops.
Well, my father was a veteran, and so was my brother. And when the opportunity come by to join the national program, we just jumped right in.
The Trees for Troops program was started 14 years ago by the National Christmas Tree Growers Association. Some donated trees are shipped to troops on bases overseas,
but most go to military bases right here in the USA, to soldiers and to their families, who can be especially homesick this time of year.
We're not able to be there with our families, so to know that the community's out there helping us, helping our families, is a great deal to a soldier.
Last year alone, Trees for Troops collected nearly 18,000 trees from 24 different states. About 70% are given by the growers themselves, but the rest come from individual donations.
Thanks so much.
At Fleming's, you can drop some cash in the jar.
Thank you very much.
Or donate a whole tree. Then you can tag it with a personal note to the troops.
I was originally born in Bosnia, and I lived through the Civil War. If it wasn't for the goodness of people like them, I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't have my beautiful family. So we do this every year.
When you see the replies that you get back, the thank yous, each year it gets easier and easier to do it, and you want to give more and more.
Thousands come to Fleming's every year to buy gifts in the Christmas shop or pick from the collection of just-cut trees.
You get that from Santa Claus.
But to really get into the Christmas spirit, I suggest a horse-drawn carriage ride. They take you to the top of the mountain where you can cut down your own tree.
We're gonna go with this one.
You know, at Fleming's, they have 250,000 trees. The problem is, which tree you choose?
250,000 trees? Wow, it would be close to the 4th of July before I could decide on one. So it's a good thing Rodney's in charge of that. Now we found out there's another Christmas connection here that you might find quite wonderful.
Christmas tree capital of the world, also the home of Jimmy Stewart, the actor, so It's a Wonderful Life. So when it comes time for the holiday season, we're really big on fa la 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 la.
He actually was born here?
He was. His family, his father had a hardware store here, and there's a museum downtown that he actually selected some of the items, and he said as long as it was kept downtown for the community, for the people of Indiana County, he was okay with it.
And it would indeed be wonderful if Rodney ever selected a tree. Rodney, find one yet?
Yes, I did. After quite a bit of looking, I found a very nice tree.
Ta-da!
I tagged the tree with a personal note, and a soldier from the local National Guard got it on the truck.
We'd like to add that every year FedEx delivers all those trees for free. They've shipped trees to more than 70 military bases in the U.S. and overseas.
People say there's no such thing as Santa Claus. Tell them come to Fort Drum tonight, because you're going to see the true spirit of Christmas.
My name is Philip Vidal. This is my family. We are so happy to be selected to be the receiver of that Christmas tree.
Thank you, Trees for Troops. It's not Christmas or a real tree, but that's my opinion. Thanks, Trees for Troops.
It's actually my first live tree. It smells good. I'm loving it.
Silent night, holy night, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
We feel so fortunate to be sharing stories of how people all across America celebrate the season, and it's made us think of our own memories. Like the year I kept telling my parents I wanted a weasel. Yep, a weasel. Finally determined it was an easel that I wanted for Christmas, so fortunately we didn't end up with a new critter on December 25th. Every year I would get a special treat under the tree, chocolate-covered cherries. But then there was the year I had to share them unintentionally with my Cocker Spaniel.
Coming up, it's showtime.
3, 2, 1.
Christmas Across America is brought to you by Nationwide and these fine sponsors. Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal. We're in the quaint Bavarian village of Leavenworth, Washington.
And it's here that we find what has to be Christmas's bright spot. The town spends weeks stringing up about 500,000 bulbs to brighten up this village.
The town is located about 120 miles east of Seattle, nestled in the majestic Cascade Mountains. These days, it attracts all kinds of special visitors.
Do you do magic?
Come Christmas time, everything is magical here, and it's completely natural to find the mayor in a horse and carriage.
What is the population of Leavenworth?
We are just about 1,900.
And then how many people will you see in the month of December?
Approximately 60,000. 3 weekends of lighting, we get about 20,000 people every weekend.
That's phenomenal.
In a town bustling with so much activity, it's hard to believe there was a time when it nearly vanished. In the 1920s, a decline in the timber industry forced the Great Northern Railroad to pull out of town.
The people who worked for the railroad, they all left. The 1960s, 2 gentlemen, Ted Price and Bob Rogers, they wanted to settle in Leavenworth, and they thought, you know what, we have to save this town. They got the community members together, the doers and the movers, and they said, what can we do to save this town? So Bob and Ted looked up and they said, that looks like the Alps. And they said, well, what if over the next few years we require the facades of every building to be old world alpine?
And so the Bavarianization of Leavenworth began. Since 1966, Leavenworth's lease on life gets an annual renewal.
This is our 3rd or 4th year, so we thought it was so pretty. We've heard so many great things about it. We can't wait for 4:30 when the lights come on. My favorite thing is seeing all the lights, hanging out with my family.
I think the Bavarian theme is going to catch on.
Yeah, I think you might get a few extra visitors.
And as those few extra visitors will discover, this is a Christmas village complete with its own reindeer farm.
My name is Hans Christian Andersen, believe it or not, named after the Danish fairy tale writer. Caribou, reindeer are the same species. There is one difference. Caribou never learn to fly. They do need Santa's magic corn for that, though.
Hans told us even more fun facts about these dearly loved creatures. They're the only members of the deer family in which both males and females grow antlers. And those antlers can grow over 50 inches and weigh 30 pounds.
He's hungry.
Look at the baby eat.
And when they aren't flying, adult reindeer can run up to 50 miles per hour. And did you know that reindeer double in size by 2 weeks old?
So how old is Elsa?
Elsa's 3.5.
And how big will she get?
She's full grown, but her antlers will continue growing her entire life.
Jan, you're kind of like an animal whisperer.
Well, here, let me show you. So Elsa, what's your favorite time of year? She says this time of year because all these people come to visit her.
And who knows reindeer better than this guy?
Right now, he's busy lighting up hearts in preparation for the lighting up of the town.
So Santa, we've been to a lot of Christmas celebrations, but this Leavenworth celebration is pretty cool. How would you rate it?
Well, I think it's one of the best ones I've seen.
The lights are absolutely stunning.
How do their lights compare to, say, your all's lights up at the North Pole?
The elves put up the lights, they decorate Christmas trees. It is fabulous up there.
And it's about to be fabulous down here, too. At dusk, Leavenworth becomes an alpine wonderland.
Everything is authentic to the Bavarian theme, right down to the alpine horns. Jan and I give it a try, but it's harder than you think.
Oh, no.
Maybe we should leave it to the pros. It's almost time for the lighting. And you can feel the electricity in the air.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Unbelievable.
This isn't just the lighting of the tree. This is lighting of the town.
Wow, I've never seen anything like this.
It's everywhere.
There must be 10,000 lights on that tree alone.
If this doesn't get you in the Christmas spirit, I don't know what will.
They know how to celebrate Christmas here in Leavenworth.
Not bad for a town that almost disappeared.
Still ahead?
We're shelling out some love to the humble Nutcracker.
Oh, I see a drummer.
Right there.
Christmas Across America is brought to you by Nationwide and also by these fine sponsors.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deals Christmas Across America. Here in Leavenworth, Washington, we found one spot where you can see out a crack in that thousands of ways. Welcome to the Leavenworth Nutcracker Museum. This might be the largest collection of its kind in the world.
So Arlene, I'm curious, what caused you to want to start collecting nutcrackers?
When I was young, I was a dance teacher, and we wanted to do the Nutcracker Ballet because we had a small ballet company. After that, I started collecting nutcrackers because I really enjoyed that big mouth character.
How many nutcrackers do you have in the museum here?
Right at 7,000.
7,000.
Among that huge number, you'll find Abe Lincoln nutcrackers, Santa nutcrackers, and even Yoda.
There's Mother Goose, Donald Duck, Snow White, and the Seven Dwarfs, and Pinocchio.
And the list goes on and on.
I understand that you get to participate in like a hunt, a nutcracker hunt.
Oh yes, that is the most favorite activity for kids here. We even have hunts for adults.
Well, we're a couple of kids at heart.
Yeah, and we're very competitive.
Okay, like some people are afraid of clowns. I'm kind of afraid of nutcrackers, but I didn't want to tell Arlene. Charlie Chaplin, I love this one, okay? He's not baring his teeth. I like the ones without the teeth. Because to me, the ones with the teeth are like, "Rrr."
Well, I know. That's why so many little kids are scared of them. I didn't know anything about you at first, and so I thought, well, maybe a medium one. So I got one for 11-year-olds. Does that kind of fit?
That's probably right our speed.
You start at the top, I'll start at the bottom.
Okay. And your marker set, go. There are so many.
Skier, crocodile, elephant.
There's a baseball player. Why can't a baseball guitar player?
Did you have a kangaroo on your list?
Is she helping him?
Okay, I got one anyway.
I think I hear her helping him.
I think you'll find lots of drummers down there.
Darth Vader.
Down this way?
No, just keep going.
Oh, I see a drummer.
Right there.
Crocodile, crocodile.
Thanks for your help, Arlene. Is there a farmer nutcracker? I haven't seen one.
Astronaut. Okay, I'm so excited. This is crazy.
I'm going to go help her.
Oh, don't help her much.
I have 7. I have 7.
Oh, you have 7 already?
I have 7 already.
Oh, gosh, you are ahead of him. Bugs Bunny.
I got 8. Have you seen a co-host nutcracker that has their mouth open?
Nice.
Oh, it's
He's cheating. He's following us.
74.
I turned into a kid. I got so excited. I don't know what got into me.
Okay, time's up, everybody.
How many did you get?
You say first.
I have 15.
Oh my goodness! How did you get 15?
Are you serious?
She cheated.
I did. How many did you have?
10.
They're always competing, aren't they, these two?
So Arlene is preserving the history of nutcrackers, but who's still breathing life into them?
For that answer, we trek clear across the country to Manquin, Virginia, about 20 miles northeast of Richmond.
There are just a handful of people that have the skills to build a nutcracker to begin with, but there's only one manufacturer of nutcrackers in North America, and that is the company that I own, TRC Designs Incorporated.
Glenn Kreider used to work out of his garage, where one by one he made and sold nutcrackers like these. It was just a hobby for the full-time computer specialist.
Then, in 2006, he got a call from the U.S. Post Office.
They hired me to produce 4 nutcrackers, which they then photographed and became the Christmas stamps in 2008.
Not bad for a hobbyist, but the stakes were raised for Glenn in 2009, when he lost his full-time job.
I needed to either do something with my hobby or me and my family would lose everything.
Today, the man who started out making nutcrackers in his garage has become the largest manufacturer of American-made Christmas ornaments.
He's got cottages, carousels, all kinds of things.
In recent years, nutcrackers have been mass-produced overseas, all but eliminating the market for handcrafted ones.
As a result, Glenn's company, TRC Designs, is the only manufacturer handcrafting nutcrackers in North America.
So, feet first.
Now, when it comes to putting one together, let's just say Glenn gives me a crack at it.
So it's more to it than it appears on the surface. Yeah, there you go.
Now the body, right? Oh, now he's starting to look like a nutcracker.
Jann has really impressed me with her manual dexterity.
I need a hammer.
So if this whole television thing doesn't work out for her,
we're getting there.
She can be an elf here in Virginia.
This former computer guy has gone from managing memory to making memories. Talk about an upgrade.
What's it like being in a business where it's Christmas every day?
It's phenomenal. We began production on January 2nd. And I can't even describe this, but I've been making these things for 40 years. There are many people that have one of everything that we've ever done. Oh, this is a dream come true.
You know, it seems that every family has their own traditions at Christmas time. From those traditions come some great memories. You know, Mom and Dad would always give us just a budget, like $20 could be our main present. And we would look through the Montgomery Ward, we would look through the Sears, and we would look through the Macy's Christmas catalogs and try and decide. And of course, I changed my mind about 50 times. I don't so much remember what I always got as a small child, but I do remember all the relatives coming in, and that made it a very special time.
Still ahead,
a town takes on a Christmas celebration of biblical proportions.
We have no more room at the end.
How did I know you were going to say that?
This year's special is brought to you by Nationwide and these fine sponsors.
When I was growing up, and even more so now, I'd say, the nativity scene has a very special meaning for me. It's the reminder that the birth of Christ is the real meaning of Christmas.
You know, we found a place that has taken the little town of Bethlehem and supersized it, including the nativity scene, bringing it to life in a beautiful way, making it a must-see destination for our Christmas Across America tour.
I love when we can do stories that have the power to inspire. And we found one in Redwood City, California.
Hail Caesar!
Shalom, shalom, welcome, welcome.
What makes this event so magical is the people of Redwood City, just south of San Francisco, deciding to celebrate what they have in common rather than their differences. Oh, and not just people, but some special furry and feathered characters pitch in too.
How did this all begin in the first place?
A 9-year-old boy asked his dad, after coming to a Christmas scenes in Redwood City, you know, do you think people would come to a drive-through nativity? So his dad called me up, said, hey Jeff, can you get me some sheep and a donkey and a camel? It took us a few years before we found somebody who had camels.
This fur is so soft.
It's soft. I thought maybe it would be more wiry.
My photobombing a camel selfie wasn't on my bucket list, but hey.
Getting dressed is a lot of work.
As the sun sets, local citizens join the animals and are transformed into actors, artisans, and angels.
I don't think they wore lip gloss.
And it starts at the top.
Can I have all my wise guys in this corner?
The 3 wise men are played by none other than the mayor, the police chief, and the fire chief.
What does it mean to you personally to be a part of this?
As the community comes together in such a great event, really celebrating peace on earth.
And just the feeling of inclusiveness and just one moment in time that they're all together.
It just celebrates something as special as Christmas is something that's just beautiful for our city.
For 24 years now, this amazing pageantry has been coordinated by Paula Dresden.
To say it's a monumental effort, we began planning actually in
June.
Is it an outreach of the church or?
No, it started as an independent, and the first night we did this, 10,000 people came. So I said to my husband, this works.
How would you describe how it has evolved from that first year to today?
Well, we were dressed that first year, bathrobes, and we had angels standing on top of a manger, but there was no choreography. But we were a pretty motley crew, I have to say.
You're just trying to really recreate that first Christmas night.
I want to show the context within the Messiah was born. He was born into a Jewish family in a Jewish community. We have a lot of Jews who come to visit Bethlehem, and I'm very happy about that because I feel that Judaism is the foundation of Christianity. Everything hits your senses at once. We have music and dancing and synagogue going, marketplace, census takers.
We couldn't wait to be a real part of this night. So with our costumes on, we traveled back over 2,000 years, right into Bethlehem AD.
What is that?
Oh, it's warm.
Fresh pita bread.
Pita bread?
Boy, fresh from the oven.
What do we have here?
Fresh pita bread, sir. Please take as much as you like.
Those Roman soldiers were a bit scary.
Hail Caesar!
We loved how into character everybody was, especially this one young shopkeeper who was not happy that Roman soldiers helped themselves to his goods.
I think he's a disgruntled taxpayer.
I'm tired of it. The Romans, can you believe it?
My friends, welcome to Bethlehem.
Now, we're just curious, is there room at the inn?
Oh, my friends, I apologize. We have no more room at the inn.
You know, how did I know you were going to say that? When they reach the manger and they see Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus.
They can't move. They just literally cannot move. They're transfixed.
How has this impacted the community here?
We've seen gang members come through and bow their head and put their hats down. We feel the Spirit of God moves over this whole community.
Feel like you're part of Bethlehem. I would imagine this is how it was when, in the days of Jesus.
This is a real blessing to have something like this going on in our world today.
Shalom. And to reflect on that blessing, we turn to Johnny Erickson Tata.
A diving accident at age 17 left her a quadriplegic.
After 2 years of rehabilitation, Johnny emerged with a determination to help others in similar situations.
Today, she is founder and CEO of Johnny and Friends International Disability Center, working as an advocate for people with disabilities.
She credits God with piecing her life back together and has participated in many crusades with the Reverend Billy Graham. Hers is a story which offers perspective on the true meaning of Christmas.
Johnny, when we think about the Christmas story, the first thing that comes to mind is that trip that Mary and Joseph had to make.
You've got Joseph packing up a couple of belongings, putting his wife Mary on a donkey. It's 60 miles between Nazareth and Bethlehem, all rough, rugged terrain. And I'm sure, for 3 days, there she is jostling, and 9 months pregnant, mind you.
Yeah.
No fun. And it must have been so painful, so inconvenient. But sometimes the most painful, awful circumstances end up being part of God's most amazing design. Because think of it. God had to get his son born in his ancestral city in Bethlehem. And I love that.
And you can relate to that.
Oh my goodness. We tend to think that only the good things, the comfortable things, the nice things are part of God's design. Like a beautiful home, or money in the bank, or lots of friends, or a good job. All this stuff makes us think we're doing something right. And then when something goes wrong or inconvenient, we wonder, oh my goodness, what did I do? What have I done wrong? And I felt like that when I broke my neck. It was so terrible. It was like, what had I done wrong? But think of it. Jesus was born in a smelly animal shed on a parking lot behind a small town hotel with a no vacancy sign. Right from the get-go, God's telling us, I get it. I understand what you're going through. I know what it's like to experience hardship and suffering. That binds me to my Savior closer than anything else. And I'm just grateful that God allowed this inconvenience in my life, because I've seen it now as part of his most beautiful design. I've sure gotten to know him a lot better, and I realize there are a lot more important things in this life than walking or even having use of your hands.
Johnny, how do you make personal to our audience the story of Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus?
Well, just strip away the tinsel, the gloss, strip away the ribbons, and you got a hard story, a story of hardship and inconvenience and pain. We all have struggles. We are destined to bear them. Jesus said, in this world you would have trouble. And guess what? He was right. Life is wired to be difficult. But let's remember that in those difficulties, there's this marvelous, beautiful design that we can be reminded of this Christmas and grab a hold of as a gift from God. Something that He'll express to us, not only this Christmas season, but in all the seasons of our life.
We'll be right back.
What an adventure we have had celebrating Christmas with some great people at some remarkable events in some really cool towns.
Yeah. It's truly been a blessing.
It was an amazing treat to visit Hammond's Candies in Colorado.
Now we know how the king of Christmas candies earns its stripes.
And in Indiana, Pennsylvania, we saw how Trees for Troops is a great way to say thank you to our military for their service and sacrifice.
Our thanks to Arlene for her graciousness, despite a little show host nuttiness at the museum.
And we are forever touched by Johnny Erickson Tata
for sharing her inspirational story and the perspective it reveals about the true meaning of Christmas.
Rodney and I are truly excited that we found people all across America who are just as crazy about Christmas as we are.
And Jan and I want to wish you and your families a very Merry Christmas and special blessings in the upcoming new year. And we hope you'll tune in to future episodes of Small Town Big Deal. But until then,
Merry Christmas! You think I'm nuts, don't you?
No comment.
He thinks I'm nuts. I am nutty about animals.
One of my great memories as a kid was when we got a huge snow and all our relatives who were coming in, we had to push them up the driveway to get them up to the house.
Our great uncle decided to take the light-up Santa in the yard and have it hop across the front window. We all started crying and screaming and dove under the furniture. Yeah.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!